Welcome to the Pigeon Auction. In this video, we present to you 4 racing pigeon fanciers from the United Kingdom. Geoff and Catherine Cooper, Mark Gilbert, Geoff Kirkland and Chris Gordon. These 4 racing pigeon fanciers represent the pinnacle of racing pigeons in the UK. Imagine birds flying hundreds of miles across open sea, battling winds, navigating home when most others vanish into thin air. What makes these 4 men and women in the UK manage not just to participate, but to dominate these extreme races? What hidden systems, what relentless drive, what genetic secrets underpin their success? Hold that thought, because what you're about to hear will challenge everything you thought you knew about pigeon racing. Geoff and Catherine Cooper didn't start with guarantees, but they built a legacy. From their loft in Peasdown, St John, they reached a moment few fanciers ever glimpse. A first open international victory, thousands of birds ahead, winds gusting across the channel. What makes that remarkable is not just the win, but the mindset behind it. They didn't collect trophies. They engineered a strain. They said the breeding loft is the starting line. And so they built it strong. But just when you might think they'd reached the peak, the journey deepened. They faced adversity, loft thefts, lost birds, the brutal reality of long-distance racing from the west of England. Yet still, they succeeded. And so we move on to their secret. They imported birds from continental Europe, Belgium, the Netherlands, with names that hardly matter to most people, but mean everything in racing pigeon circles. They embraced the widowhood system, birds paired, separated, timed, and calibrated it for open sea cross-channel flights. Their birds faced the toughest test: the sea, the wind, the mental instinct to home under immense pressure. The Coopers' answer? Breed resistance, breed homing drive, breed repeatable excellence. This wasn't about luck. It was about design.
I would like to tell you about the best pigeon I think I've ever owned, George. He was a great racer. As a yearling, he came out of a very hard race on the second day when very few pigeons came. The following year, the 2-year-old, he was second section in a very hard Bordeaux race at 750 metres a minute. The following year, he won the Grand National at the fastest Grand National speed on record over the last 100 years, 1434 metres per minute. He was a great racer, but his strength is he is a breeder of breeders. 90% of his children breed winners. I've never known a pigeon so prolific in producing breeders. Year after year, this year, I've had 3 first section winners, all grandchildren, 2 second section winners, grandchildren. He is absolutely phenomenal. 1 grandson, Farmer George, first international Bordeaux. George's grandson, Farmer George, won the Bordeaux International by 47 minutes. He nearly never went to the race. He was booked in to go to another race, a very important race for me, the Grand National of England. But on that day I thought it was a good chance England could win the International from Agen. So he got substituted at the last moment and sent to Agen, where it's history, where he won.
We felt vindicated in putting George in the stock loft when he was in the prime of his racing career, as although not many birds from George left our loft, the ones that did have all reported back winners. In 2016, 4th National, a grandchild of George. 2017, 2nd National, a grandchild of George. And in 2018, in one of the hardest Grand National races, Grandchild George was first Grand National at 751 metres a minute. All these Grand National races are over 900 kilometres in distance.
And I feel now that Farmer George is going to take the mantle of George through the winners coming from him. Farmer George being the grandson, I think will be as good, even if not better than George. That is my feeling.
Enter Mark Gilbert. If the Coopers were the architects, Gilbert is the executor. Starting at age 14, he's been in this game long enough to know every wind shift and every flash of the loft. He races everything, from 60-mile club outings to 700-mile marathons, and wins. Against 17,000 birds in one race, he scored first international. That's not luck, that's mastery. And yet, what set him apart is consistency. Where many shine once, Gilbert shines repeatedly. He didn't just win a race, he rewrote expectations for British fanciers. So, how does he do it? You'll hear of lofts built like labs, birds raised with precision, bloodlines selected like stock portfolios. One tip he offers: if you want to win First International, buy or breed from birds that already won First International. Simple? Maybe. But many are not bold enough to follow it. He is. And that boldness translates into victories. Just when you think you understand him, twist. His ambition still includes the Great Barcelona race, considered nearly impossible for a British loft. He hasn't stopped. Neither should we. Then there's Geoff Kirkland, a veteran whose name is whispered in respect, not hype. He started when few thought UK fanciers could dominate national-level racing long-term. With his famous bird snake, he carved out a legacy of steady success, not flash. His philosophy? Well, he dismisses gimmicks like eye sign. He insists on fitness, full-bodied but buoyant birds, tight vents, perfect feathers. Metabolic athletes, not glamour show birds. His approach is old school, disciplined, and honestly, quite rare. When things go wrong, you'll see his birds hang on. When things go right, they win again. That's power. Finally, Chris Gordon, a man who went to the extreme edge of the sport. Based in Yorkshire, he had birds flying over 600 miles on the day of toss, breaking records that seem untouchable. His secret? A barley-only feeding regime through molten winter. Most would deem it too sparse. He saw it as lean, resilient conditioning. Birds that can endure for thousands of wing beats without fat. That's endurance turned to art. When you think bird racing is all about speed, Gordon reminds you, sometimes it's simply about surviving and delivering when everything else fails. What do these 4 stories tell us? They tell us that pigeon racing in the UK isn't a hobby. It's a science, a challenge, a quest. The Coopers built genetic thunderbolts. Gilbert refined them to everyday dominance. Kirkland held the foundations firm. Gordon extended the journey into places few dare. And together they map a spectrum. Speed, endurance, longevity, intelligence. So here's the kicker. The future of the sport may not belong to the one-trick winner, rather to the fancier who blends all these threads. Because when a bird inherits the Cooper's gene, flies like Gilbert's, endures like Kirkland's, and survives like Gordon's, what happens then? That's the next frontier. And I, for one, can't wait to see who gets there.